everyone, it's Thursday and now we're answering your questions you shared with us on Tuesday. So first we heard from Carrie in Westerville. What's your opinion on annuities? Wow, there are numerous types of annuities out there. You have to make sure if you're searching for annuities, A, it's with the insurance company that's sound and secure. B, it's designed for income. I'm a big believer that annuities are designed for income. For instance, many people, you may know, or you yourself may have a pension. Everybody knows that a pension, should know, that a pension pays a monthly amount once you retire. So if you retired from Southwestern City Schools, you're going to get state teachers retirement. Or if you retire from the city of Columbus, you're going to get OPERS or PERS, a pension. Well, many people sometimes want the security of a guaranteed income. They don't have a pension, so they might put it into an annuity like with Nationwide here in town, and they're going to get guaranteed payments for the rest of their life. There's also deferred annuities. So it's kind of a long answer to your question, but many of our clients that ask this question, Carrie, are trying to uncover what's the good, the bad, and the ugly of annuities. And there is the good and bad, the ugly of really any type of place you can put your money. Or I say the pros and cons. Okay, what's the pro of a CD? Well, it's safe. What's the con? Well, it doesn't really earn that much in compared to a portfolio. So annuities are a terrific vehicle, but like anything else, they have to be used appropriately, and that's what we teach our clients. We sit down, hey, is an annuity right for you? In other words, if you're going to paint your house, you don't use a shovel. If you're going to dig a hole to do your gardening, you don't use a paintbrush. So just like any financial product, like an annuity, you need to make sure you're using it appropriately, and an advisor can really help you navigate that. Great question, thanks. Jim in Dublin, how do I know if I would benefit from a financial advisor? Wow, Jim, great question. Many people have an opinion that advisors are going to charge a fee or make lots of commissions and really won't service you. Well, I'm glad to say I believe our clients have felt different than that. Here's how you're really going to benefit, Jim. First, do they educate you on where you are now? In other words, when they do an analysis and learn about who you are and what you have and what you're trying to accomplish, do they then provide you kind of an assessment or an evaluation or a written income plan as far as retirement planning, which is really the bulk of what we do? So you will benefit from if they educate you first. In this case, I wrote a book. Anybody that sits down with us is going to understand how we work and what our beliefs are, but we're going to educate you on, for instance, Carrie's question, what is an annuity? What's a diversified stock portfolio? How do I use life insurance? What about health? We need to educate our clients first. And then you'll have to understand, will they have a plan of action to sit down and review on a regular basis? And in our case, it's take you to retirement and through retirement. Some people will share with me that, hey, you know, I had this advisor, hadn't heard from him in 2 years. That's not value to you. So those are some questions you want to ask someone, Jim, if you're going to sit down and maybe work with a financial advisor. Okay, thanks. Debbie in Upper Arlington, is there a way or strategy to retire early if I will soon most likely become a caregiver to my husband? Well, caregiving is huge in this country, Debbie. A lot of people are doing it, and we call them the sandwich generation. In other words, they're caring for maybe their children or spouse in your case, and maybe their parents. So the way to look at a strategy for you, Debbie, would be understanding what benefits do you have? Would your husband receive any kind of government benefits for his care, depending on the level he needs? And what have you saved? What do you have for Social Security? And you would run an income analysis to see if you could afford to retire early. You know, Carrie, or Debbie, the great news is many people work past when they really need to. And one of the things we do every day with our clients here is run these assessments and figure out, hey, can you retire earlier? This gets a little bit more involved, Debbie, as far as really making a decision on, do you really care for your husband completely, or do you get outside help? So this is really a a discussion that needs to be had one-on-one because it's complex. I hate to give that answer, but it's very complex. But thanks, Debbie. Tom in Dublin, I heard your last episode where you spoke about doing a whole segment on tax-free retirement, and I'd be very interested in that. Well, first, tax-free retirement is the best retirement there is. We sit down with clients on a day-to-day basis and talk about how do we go from taxable. Think of all those accounts you have in 401ks or IRAs. No taxes have been paid on that. Well, when you start taking it out and you have to at 70.5, you are going to pay a lot of tax. And this is where people find out, well, gee, I thought I was going to be in a lower tax bracket when I retire. Not necessarily. I think taxes right now are a great deal, Tom. In other words, income taxes. I believe they have to go up one day. So what we're going to do, and we're going to get it out eventually, kind of do it in a kind of a webinar format, we're going to talk about how to create a tax-free retirement, and it takes strategic planning. In other words, we just don't do it in 1 year and it's tax-free forever. It takes time. It takes time because we need to pay the taxes, but we're doing it in a strategic manner so we can move from taxable to tax-free, which is what most people like to hear about. John, what do you think is a common myth about saving for retirement? Well, I'll tell you the biggest myth is that your 401k is diversified. What I mean by that is a lot of people think, well, I'll choose the 10 or 12 funds in here. I have 30 to choose from in some cases. And I'll pick 10 or 12, and some people do it kind of like this with their hands over their eyes and just pick funds. But we find out a lot of those funds own the same stocks. And we want to teach you how true diversification is, which is globally diversified. So the most common myth about saving for retirement is that I am diversified in my company plan or maybe the funds I chose outside, and more importantly, that I just need to set it and forget it. Now, I see people every day, on occasion, they will say, I just kind of saved for the last 20, 30 years, and here I am. And that might work, but it's not a good plan. You know, and back to the question that Jim brought about the benefit of a financial advisor, this is where we can come in, or any good retirement advisor will come in and help you really build a diversified plan that could really combat one of the biggest myths of saving for retirement. So that's our questions for this Thursday. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, anybody out there listening, go ahead and ask some questions on Tuesday, and we'll answer them on Thursday. Have a great day, and I look forward to visiting with you someday and create your abundant retirement.